about playing the next play, okay? What does that mean? Raise your hand if you know what that means. Play the next play.
You move on from the last play, and you can't do anything about the past, and you just do the next thing.
Can't do anything about the past. Exactly right, okay? And that to me, really applies to the game of football. How many of y'all raise your hand if you watched the Kansas City Chiefs and the Texans play last weekend? Anybody watch that? Okay? What could have happened if Kansas City didn't play the next play? And I was rooting for the Texans, I was pissed, right? But what happens if you don't move forward and play the next play? They're down 24-0, they hadn't done nothing right, and they just kind of stuck to their plan, and they concerned themselves with the very next play. So it really doesn't matter in any given football game, what has already happened. What matters is that you're willing to focus on the next play, because that's all you can control. You can't say, golly, we're down 14 points, or daggum, I can't block this guy, or he's with me the last 3 plays, or whatever. We've turned it over. Golly, their guy's faster than I am, and I can't cover. You start worrying about all those things instead of focusing on what can I do on the very next play to be successful. And once that play's over, I got to flush it and I got to go on. Does that make sense? That's real critical. And it's harder to do than you think, because when you're tired, or when maybe you're getting whooped, or maybe when something bad happens, that a lot of times is when that starts to occur, that affects me. And my pride starts hurting, and I start doing things, and I'm defensive. My body language gets bad. I have negative thoughts. To me, the bottom line is all those things, that's just noise, all right? It's things that we can't control. All we control is what's right in front of our nose. And so that is after a bad play. That is after a bad event. But just as important, it's after a good play. What happens when we, make a big play and I'm a DB and I bat one down and all I'm doing is doing this and pointing first downs and I'm worried about showboating and all that kind of crap. But what should I be worried about? Next play. Because that's the only one that really matters. So whether something bad happens or something good happens, those teams that are successful, they figure out a way to focus on the next play, because it's not one play that ever wins or loses a ball game, right? Like you can watch a game and say, crap, that one long touchdown pass is the difference in the game. Well, there was probably 140 or 50 other plays in that game that all add up to that point. And so bottom line is you have to focus yourself on playing the next play. As to me, as that applies in life, raise your hand if you think that you have an example of how playing the next play might be in your real life, outside of football. Anybody have an idea? Yes, sir.
Like, if you make a bad grade on a test or something, you just
Absolutely.
move on or correct it.
Has anybody ever made a bad grade on a test in here? I have. Okay. Or if you have a teacher that you got in trouble and she's on your butt, and I'm going into class dreading it every single day. Bad grade is a big thing. That's something that you deal with right now. How about breaking up with a girlfriend? How about getting in a fight with one of your buddies? An argument or a spat. Those are things that you deal with right now. All right. What about later in life? Lose a job? Is that a possibility? Sometimes you can do your absolute best, and you lose your job, and you got a family that's counting on you. Or it could be that you just got a big promotion and you're making a ton of money. What have I got to still focus on? Doing the job, doing the things that are right. Because a lot of times when I get a big job and make a bunch of money, I change who I am a little bit, right? So it's about looking forward and playing the next play. In your lifetime, you're going to lose family members. You know what I'm saying? To death. Some of you have probably already experienced that. Okay? There's a lot of bad things that can happen, and you can surround yourself with all the negative thoughts and all the bad things that are happening to me, and that kind of gets into a downward swirl where I'm not controlling the things that are right in front of my nose. It's really, really important in life to know that there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of things that are going to happen, good, bad, and different, but you can never let that sway you from what is important. And those are the things that are right in front of your nose, and those are the things that you control. And it applies in football big time, and it applies in life big time. And I can tell you that I've had friends. I had an assistant coach who wanted a child worse than anything in the world, and he and his wife had tried for 15 years, and finally they got pregnant, right? And he's like 42. He's going to be that dude that drops off his kid and looks like the grandpa when he gets up there. But they finally had what they wanted, and in the 8th month of the pregnancy, they lost their child. And I was there with him. He was devastated. He was crying, and he looked at me and he says, all I can do right now is play the next play. And I think it applies in a lot of ways, whether it's your academics, whether it's your social life, whether it's as you move on in life. But I can tell you right now, it applies in football, big time. Like we want to get mad about, getting beat deep and some of the things that I've just talked about. I mean, that's nothing, right? That's nothing. It's getting yourself back up, dusting yourself off, and going to play the next play to the best of your ability, regardless of what's happened before. That is something that you need to have in your life. And that is something that every day in off season, you can work on that, right or wrong. Every single day, you can work on it. And when you work on it, and like it's not an easy thing to do, but when you work on it and you start kind of consistently doing it, it becomes a habit. It becomes who you are. It's in your DNA. Okay? And that's who you want to be. But you have to work at it every single day. It's going for, we talk about transition, right? Right? Going to the next station, next station, next station. Okay? The next day, the next day, the next day. You got to focus on the things that are right in front of you. And I think if you do those things, you'll find that life is going to be a whole lot better. You're not going to worry about a bunch of crap that I can't control. Everybody with me? Okay, so here's what's going to happen now.